Hello everyone. My name is Nurgazy Dolotbaev. I am 31 years old. I was born in Osh. I'm a climate resilience and food safety expert here from Kyrgyzstan. For more than 10 years, I have worked with international organizations, local communities, government partners on the projects related with the forestry, climate resilience, renewable energy, and sustainable livelihood. By the way, today I am also led my own consulting company where we support environmental projects and promote energy efficient technologies. So we are improving, selling, and make consulting on heat pumps to reduce greenhouse gas emission. And what they inspires me is seeing how to simple environmental solutions can improve people's lives when communities restore forests, protect water resources, and adopt climate smart practices. They are not only protecting nature, they are also creating a better future for their children. That belief continues to motivate me every day.
That's amazing, and it's so good to see people like you who have joined us. So this My Future My Voice recognition that we have is not just about young people, but also people like you who inspires the generation. So we welcome you once again as an advisor to My Future My Voice community, which is spread across the globe, more than 250 people now, and it's increasing day by day. And it's so good. We welcome you again because you recently joined this network, and we call ourselves Earth the Network as well, which is truly the meaning of Earth Day is every day. And recently, I would like to ask you to share a bit about because this Earth Day on 22nd of April 2026, you were also part of the campaigns that were going around, and you did an amazing plantation drive of the trees in Kyrgyzstan. So, would you like to share something on that?
Yeah, growing up in Kyrgyzstan, I spent a lot of time in nature. So it means that me and my family, we are mostly going to our mountains. You know, we have a better nature here in Kyrgyzstan. And but the moment that truly changed my perspective came while working directly with rural communities. So I saw farming struggling with water shortage, degraded lands, disaster-prone zones, and changing weather patterns. These were not future climate risks. They were already happening already now and
Yeah.
affecting people's livelihood. As you know, in Central Asia, we have for this year especially we have uh, a lot of rains here and melting glaciers. That experience made me realize that protecting the environment is not just about conserving the nature. It's about protecting people, food security, and future generation.
Wow. It's amazing. And recently you planted trees also during Earth Day. So, and I saw some pictures that the whole community came together in different places. You're planting these trees. So, what kind of trees usually these are in Kyrgyzstan when you plant?
It's mostly we are planting local trees which are already adopted in in the places.
Yeah.
For example, yeah, this year my priority is expanding community-based tree plantings and climate resilience activities, especially restoring the degraded landscapes with native tree species like as wild apples, wild almonds, wild trees, pines, prunes, and others.
Oh, amazing. It's really good because a lot of times Earth Day also have this initiative, the Canopy Project, and we also plant trees. So we always also promote that farmers and people should plant more fruit trees so that it also gives them the benefit when they are getting the fruit, and it also give back to the community. They are native, so it's really good. Mr. Noor, I also want to mention that it's true that around the world, climate change is happening in all the places, but in most of the places, if it's affecting more, but it does not get that limelight into the world. So, for example, Kyrgyzstan have a lot of glaciers that are melting, and you mentioned that a lot of rain patterns are changing. It is affecting the farming. It's already a cold region, and you only get very small time to do the farming here. So, would you
Yeah.
like to share some of the challenges that Kyrgyzstan faces nowadays because of climate change, which you have seen in your lifetime?
So mostly I want to mention that main challenge is that we have a lot of projects here. And the problem is the local NGOs, international NGOs are implementing their projects, let's say in Uzgen or in Aksiyent or in Alabuka district. And the main problem is that not all of them, but some local communities are not getting responsibility of continuing these projects. It's the main problem.
Yeah.
Second one, second one, it's a seasonal time, as you mentioned, because in Kyrgyzstan we have 4 seasons. So working with the projects is we have challenge with the procurement. So we need to prepare the procurement plan. We need to prepare the technical specification for the fencing materials, for the planting materials. So this procurement time, it's sometimes we are getting challenged with the seasonality of the planting activities.
Okay. So people often believe that it's very easy to plant trees around the world. You can just go dig a hole and plant trees. But as you mentioned, that it's not always easy to procure even the materials that you require, the community, the space, because in terrains in Kyrgyzstan are very different, and not every around the year it can be planted as well. There are very specific times, especially in cold regions, when you can plant tree. So it
Yeah.
has been amazing having you as an advisor, because I'm sure we can increase the network in Central Asia. Kyrgyzstan, Kazakhstan countries can come together to fight this challenge that we all are facing. And one amazing thing you mentioned, because it's very nice how you're not just working with communities and the organizations, farmers, but also technicalities, like you're working in the heating systems. And
Yeah.
in your introduction you mentioned you're somehow turning them to be less responsible for emitting greenhouse gases. Would you like to explain, like, how is this happening? Because countries like Kyrgyzstan definitely needs heating, and it needs a lot of greenhouse gases being emitted. But how are you reversing it?
So, in Central Asia, we have coal. So more than 90% of the heating systems in whole Kyrgyzstan is depends on the coal and using by the coal. And the coils gives 3 and 4 times more CO2, which is directly damages our atmosphere. Yeah? So in last 2 years, we are trying to explain that we have energy efficient equipments, energy efficient technologies, which are minimize the CO2 in our conditions. For example, in Kyrgyzstan, we have 2 big cities, Bishkek and Osh, and we are really have problem with the CO2 in winter time. And using this heat pumps, it's helping us to minimize the CO gas emissions and somehow makes more clear oxygen in in our cities.
Oh, wonderful. I'm sure a lot of people are not aware about it, that people like you in Kyrgyzstan are doing this, and every action counts. So we have been doing this podcast with a lot of people, and every young people is saying that every act counts. And this is a very big action, I would say, that reducing the emission using the heat pumps, the new heat pumps that you have, because point by point,
Yeah.
if you accumulate throughout the year the amount of heating that countries like Kyrgyzstan use, it will be a big amount. So that's amazing. And this year and last year also, our theme for Earth Day was also our power, our planet. So it was also based on how you can reduce the dependency on fossil fuels like coal, and increase your dependency on solar and renewables, or just move to other innovative technologies that uses less fossil fuels. And it's about energy transition and everything. So I think it's a perfect example that I'm sure can inspire a lot of people. uh, my last two questions to you, Mr. Noor, would be that first, how do you envision, let's say 2035 or 2050, around 20 years, 25 years down the line, how would you see your country changing in terms of environment? And what advice would you like to give to young people in order for us to see that change?
Mhm. So regarding by 2035, yeah, by 2035, I hope we will have shifted from talking about restoring nature to actually living with restored ecosystems. So in Kyrgyzstan, we have a good government program, which is called Green Heritage. In Kyrgyz, it's Jashil Muras, which is established by our president Sadır Japarov in 2022. So by this program, uh, we have fundraised a lot of international projects into Kyrgyzstan, and also government started to protect our nature. I mean, how? By planting the trees, by reforestation, by afforestation, and by using the energy efficient water irrigation systems like a drip irrigation, to use rainwaters, to establish water daily basins, reservoirs in Kyrgyzstan, and this green heritage program help us to work with the local authorities also. Really, it was really helpful for us. And also there is a have good responsibility which is controlled by the government.
Wow.
And I want to see that forest, I mean in 2035, I want to see that forest expanding instead of shrinking, clean energy becoming the global standard, and young people leading environmental decisions at every level. And also I can say last 3 to 5 years, the residents, big companies, factories are trying to change their facilities into environmentally efficient factories, like using solar pumps, as I said, gas boilers, heat pumps, and so on. And
Yeah.
most importantly, I hope that the future generation will see the climate action not as a crisis response, but as a normal way of living in harmony with the nature. And
Wow.
last one, yeah, I will start that we can continue with the movement called One Family, One Native Tree. Why native? Because we need to plant native trees in that degraded areas, because that trees are adopted for their weather conditions. And the idea is simple. So every family plants and cares for at least one native tree each year. And
Wow.
just imagine we have 7 million peoples, and it means that each year we are planting 7 million trees around the Kyrgyzstan. And
That's amazing. Yeah.
yeah, and I want to say that we not should to wait the big huge projects. We can start from the smallest ones.
Yeah. It's amazing. Like 7 million trees every year is a big and
Yeah,
realistic goal. And I don't think it's a
yeah.
burden to any family. One tree, 1 year, one family, it's very realistic. So I think I'm hoping that it will be true very soon. And this was amazing. Thank you so much, Mr. Noor, for joining us for this podcast, for this conversation, and bringing these voices from Kyrgyzstan, telling us about all the ideas that are happening, innovation. And I'm sure this will not just inspire people in Kyrgyzstan, but around the world. So thank you so much for joining, and I hope you have success in your work, environmental work, and you grow the network.
Okay, thank you, Rumi. And I hope that our our experience will help to share and duplicate these projects in other countries or other places.
Definitely. Thank you so much, Mr. Noor.
Thank you. See you soon.